This is R.D. Sharma Solution, Class 11, Chapter 31, Mathematical Reasoning. Exercise is 31.6. The first question is, check the validity of the following statements. So there are three parts here. So 100 is a multiple of 4 and 5. So this is P. How can we write this? We can write this as 100 is a multiple of 4. This is one of the statement. And combined with, this is a connective, 100 is a multiple of 5. 100 is a multiple of 5. Okay. So we have two statements and they are connected with AND. So is it a valid statement or not? So we have to see how does AND behave. And behave like this. If we have say P and Q, so let us take one as P, one as Q. So all the combination I am writing, so that it is easy for us to conclude what will be the result. So, and until both are true, we don't get true. All false until both are true. So, 100 is a multiple of 4, this is true. And 100 is a multiple of 5, this is also true. 5 into 20 is 100, 4 into 25 is 100. So, true and true is true. So, this is a valid statement. This is a valid statement. Second one, 125 is a multiple of 5 and 7. This is Q. This is the second part of this question. So we can write again like this. 125 is a multiple of 5. This is one statement. So this is 125 is a multiple of 5. And 125 is a multiple of 7. Multiple of 7. Now if you see here, 125 is a multiple of 5. Okay. So 5 into 25 is 125. But 7 into something is not going to be 125. It doesn't divide it. So this is true, this is false. And they are between AND. So T and F. See, T and F will give you F. So you'll get a false here. So this is a invalid statement or not a valid statement. Third one, 60 is a multiple of 3 or 4. So 60 is a multiple of 3 and or 60 is a multiple of 3 or 60 is a multiple of 5. So let me just make this combination of OR also. So true, true, false, false. We are true, false, true, false. It will always give you true when either of or one of the statements are true. Both false, then only false. So 60 is 3 into 20 is 60, 5 into 12 is 60. So both are true, true or true is a true. That is, it's a valid statement. Okay, question number 2 here. Check whether the following statement are true or not. So there are two statements. First we'll see. The statement is P. If x and y are odd integers, then x and y is an even integer. If x and y are odd integers, then x plus y, x addition y, is an even integer. So let us see here. Let us say that Q is true. We are saying first, let us take them as a statement. There is P and Q. No, P is already there, so we cannot take P. Let us say Q and R. So Q is one of the statement and R is another statement. Since P is already there, we always take P and Q, but P is x and y are odd integers and R is x plus y is an even integer. X plus y are odd integers, x plus y is an even integer. So let us assume it is true. X plus y are odd integers. If it is true, what does it mean? We can just write odd integers. First we'll make the number as even by multiplying it by 2. And then we will purposefully add 1 to make it as odd. 2n plus 1 is odd. So x and y, x is this, y also you can take 2n plus 1 like this. Now this is okay. Let us see x plus y is an even integer or not. If it is even integer, this statement is true, otherwise it is false. So 2n plus 1 plus 2n plus 1 is going to give you 2m plus 2n plus 2. Now you can take 2 common, m plus n plus 1. m plus n plus 1 is also a constant, you can take it as 2k. So now x plus y is an even integer. So this statement is true. Now this is the second part of the second question. The question is, if x and y are integers, such that x into y is even, then at least one of x and y is an even integer. So we can do it directly, or we can use it, do it, say, contrapositive. So since q is the second part, let us first break them into the statement. So if x and y are integers, such that even. So xy is an even integer, this we take as q. And at least one of x and y is an even integer, we are taking it as q and r. So this is first statement, q, xy is an even integer, is q, and r is at least one of x and y is an even integer. So I'll tell you about both the methods we can do. I'll show you both the methods. So first see, let r not to be true. Assume it to be contrapositive. So let us say r is not true. That is, at least one of x and y is an even integer. We assume it purposefully that if this is not true, that is, x and y are odd integers. At least one of x and y is an even integer. We assume that it is not an even integer, this is an odd integer. Odd integer. We assume it to be odd integer, contrary to what is given. So x and y, let us write it as, I'm saying again that we are assuming it to be a false. We are taking the method of contrapositive. So x is 2m plus 1, making it as odd as the earlier question. Y we assume it to be 2m plus 1. So let us say what x into y gives us. If x into y gives us the opposite, then the statement is true, otherwise false. So 2m plus 1, 2n plus 1, let us say x into y. So 2n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 into 2m plus 1. I am multiplying x and y. So when we multiply 2 to the 4mn plus 2m plus 2n plus 1. So now you can take 2 common from here, all these 3. So you get mn, 2mn plus m plus n plus 1. Okay, so this is a constant, assume it to be k, 2k plus 1. So this is odd. This is odd. So xy is an even integer. So we found it contrary. So as I said, when we say that one is wrong, the other is also wrong. So it is true. I hope you got the idea. When one is wrong, when not q, if not q, then not p, that means p implies q. Or p is what we want. This is a true statement. This is a true statement. You can also do it in the straight way. We can just assume that xy is an even integer. If you take x and y as an integer, say take one as 2m, other as 2n. So 4m into say 2k, 2n, let us assume it to be 2n. So 4m into 2m into 2n is 4mn. You can write it as 2 into 2mn. 2mn is k, so 2k. So this is coming as even integer. Okay. So both ways you can do it. The second one. Okay. Okay, now question number 3. So show that the statement is P. If x is a real number, then x cube plus 3 equals 0, then x is 0. If x is a real number such that x cube plus x equals 0, then x is 0. Now we will do it by, or the question says you have to do it by 3 methods. So direct method, contrapositive and contradiction. We'll see contrapositive and contradiction, or the direct method and contradiction are almost same how to prove it. So first divide them into proper statements. So first we are saying x is a real number, x cube plus x equals 0. So if p is the given statement, let us divide it into the required component statements. So one we can take as q, one as r. So q we can take it as x is a real number such that x cube plus x equals 0. And r you can take it as x is 0. So direct method is what? Assume this first is to be true. Let q be true. So x cube plus x equals 0. So take x common, x square plus 1 is 0. X cube plus 1 cannot be 0 because plus 1 is already there. So x square plus 1 cannot be 0. So that has to be, x has to be 0. Because x is 0, then also plus 1 will not give you 0. So x has to be 0. So x is 0. So by direct method, the statement is true. If q, then p, or if p, then q, the statement is true. Now coming to the method of contrapositive. Contrapositive. If we can say if not Q, then not R, it's same. So not Q. Let us say it's not Q. That R is not 0. We say that this R or X is not 0. So when we say X is not 0, what will happen to X cube plus X? X square plus X plus 1. So we are assuming that X is not 0. When this is not 0, X square plus X square into X plus 1 will give you never 0. Let us take any two number. Any number 2. 2 plus 1, 2 square into 2 plus 1, 4 into 3. This is 12. So until this X is not equal to 0, you are not going to get this value as 0 because you are taking X into X into X square plus 1. So if not Q, then not R is a true statement. That means method of contrapositive, this is true. The contradiction. Now this is, you can just, contradiction means you assume something and you contradict yourself. If Q is not, let Q not be true, then not Q is, if Q is not true, not Q is true. That is, Q implies R is also true. Not of Q implies R is true. That is, Q and not R is true. Now don't, I'm just saying because the solution is like that, but you don't have to worry about this. The contradiction method is very easy. It's just like your direct method. Okay, all what I'm trying to show is the way you should do if you are preparing for IITs or competition exam. But in order to understand, the best is to assume something and contradict it. Okay, so just let us take the easier way, just to understand, because when you do more examples, you'll understand more. Okay, so let us see here. So we have, let us assume that X is not equal to 0. So when X is not equal to 0, what will happen? X cube plus X, what will happen? X cube plus X. You can take X common, X common, X common, not X square. Okay, this is a mistake. I'll just clear it. So when we have X into X square plus 1, if you are saying X is not equal to 0, I just told you that when I put 2 also, we didn't get it. So X into X square plus 1 will always be 0 when X is 0. And if X is not equal to 0, it will never be 0. So this is a contradiction. Okay, now question number 4. Show that the following statement is true by the method of contrapositive. Contrapositive, okay. That is, let me tell you the statement first. This is, if X is an integer and X square is odd, then X is also odd. This is our statement. If you have followed the examples, this is an example also in ebook, means it is solved. So we'll use this X is an integer, X square is odd, then X is also odd. So we'll divide it into two parts. If X is an integer, X square is odd, this is our first statement. Let us assume it to be Q. And R as X is also odd. Contrapositive now. So if not R, then not Q we are going to prove. Or you can say if not Q, then not R. This also you can do. So if not Q, then not P. This is how contrapositive work. If P, then Q. So let us say that R be false. This is not Q. Let R be false. That is, X is not odd. We assume X is not odd because X is also odd. We are saying X is not odd, contrapositive. So X is even, so it has to be some 2n multiplied by some 2 number. Okay, now just square it. X square equals 4n square. We can write it as X square, we can write it as 2 into 2n whole square. So 2 into k you can assume. So X square is coming as even. So now X square is odd in the earlier, means Q is saying X square is odd, but X square is coming is even. So by saying negation of not Q, we also proved negation of not P. That is, the statement is true. If I did not Q, I proved it to be not P. That is, we are by any means saying if P then Q. So this P is a true statement. R is false, that is implying Q is false. This P is true statement, right? You need to go back to the theory, you need to understand it well so that you understand how we can write in a contrapositive way. This is question number 5. Show that the following statement is true. So here, the integer n is even if and only if n square is even. This is the statement. So this is if and only if. Okay. Now we can rewrite this statement in a form where we can insert necessary and sufficient, and also we can find out the statements which are making this compound statement. So let me write the actual statement first. The integer n is even if and only if n square is even. This if and only if is the main thing. This is the main thing. If and only if n square is even. Okay. So the necessary and sufficient condition for integer n to be even is n square must be even. This you can write, and you can extract two component statements from this compound statement. That is, the first one will be the integer n is even. The second one will be n square is even. So now you can have this P and Q, two separate statements from this compound statement. And when we have to show, or when we have to check whether this is true or false, actually it is true because the question is saying true. So if P then Q we have to prove, also you have to prove if Q then P. If P then Q and if Q then P, that means if and only if P, if and only if Q. So if n is even, then n square is even, and second is if n square is even, then n is even. This is what you have to do. So let us start for the first one, if P then Q. So let us say that if n is even, so let us square it. N square will be 2m, that is 4m square. So you can write it as 2 into 2m square, that is 2 into k. So n square is 2k. So 2 into something is even. So when you said the integer n is even, you proved that n square is also even. Now let us come to the second part. Second part is if Q then P. If Q then P, that is if n square is even, then n has to be even. And let us try doing it using the contrapositive method. Normally you can easily do it. Okay, I'll try doing it contrapositive method. That is, if Q then P, we are saying if not P, then not Q. If it is possible, if not P, not Q, then it is if Q then P. It's exactly same. So what we say? That is, we say not P. So n is not even. We say n is not an even number. What does it mean? That n is an odd number. N has to be odd number. When n is odd, how can we write an odd number? When n is odd, we can write it as n equals 2k plus 1. N is equal to 2k plus 1. Now let us square it. It will be n square. 2k plus 1 whole square is a plus b whole square, a square plus b square plus 2ab. 4k square plus 1 square plus 2 into 2k plus into 2 into 2k into 1. So 4k square plus 4k plus 1. You can take 2 common from here. You can just take 2 common from here. So you get, because I am going to show it that it is odd. If n is odd, n square is also odd. That is contrapositive method. So let us take 2 common. You can have 2k square plus 2k plus 1. So what do you get? This you can take it as any p, q or something. So say it's p or say k. It doesn't matter. K, p, m. So 2k plus 1. Let us assume it to be 2k plus 1. So now this is odd. So when you started with a contra, that is n is not even, that is n is odd, you proved that n square is also odd. That is, if not p, then not q. When you proved, that is if q, then p. This we have learned in the theory also. If not p, then not q. That means if q, then p. If q, then p. So first you proved if p, then q. Then you proved if q, then p. That is, if, this is if and only if condition. That means this is a true statement. If P then Q and if Q then P both are true, that means this statement is true. That is what we have to prove. The statement is true. Now coming to question number 6. By giving a counter example, show that the following statement is not true. Counter example you have to give. So if all the angles of a triangle are equal, then the triangle is an obtuse angle triangle. If all the angles of a triangle are equal, then the triangle is an obtuse angle triangle. So just assume something and contradict yourself. This is what we have to show by counter example. So if a triangle, this is a triangle with all angle equal, and then the triangle is an obtuse angle triangle. Obtuse angle means one of the angle has to be greater than 90 degree. One of the angle has to be greater than 90 degree. So let me just draw a triangles to have an idea, but we'll just counter it. How? If P then Q or if Q then P, that is what you can start. Okay. So first is all the triangles are equal. All the triangle angles are equal. So when you say all the triangles are equal, if all the triangles are equal, it cannot be an obtuse angle triangle. How? If you can prove not R, we have to prove not R. Okay. That is what this counter example means. If you say Q is true, R has to be a false. So you know by angle sum property of a triangle, the sum of the angle of the triangle has to be 180 degree. That is, if you take this as x, y, z, x plus y plus z is 180 degree, then x plus y plus z, that is, you can write y and z also as x. So it is 3x equals 180 degree, x will be equal to 60 degree. So x is 60 degree, every angle is 60 degree. So not even a single angle can go up 60 degree. An equilateral triangle, all the angles are equal, every angle has to be 60 degree. So we cannot have we are not talking about a triangle having greater than 90 degree angle. So we can conclude that the statement is that P is, the whole statement is false. Because if Q and that not R, if Q is true and R is false, the whole equation is false. Now question 7, which of the following statements are true and which are false? In each case, give a valid reason for saying so. You just have to give the reason here. Okay, one by one we are going to take. So the first one, there are 5 in all, 5 subparts. So the first one is, each radius of a circle is a chord of the circle. Each radius of a circle is a chord of the circle. So chord, the definition of chord is, it has to intersect 2 points, distinct points of a circle. So 2 distinct points of a circle. So this is false. Radius doesn't do that. Second is, the center of the circle bisect each chord of the circle. This is also false. Only one chord, which is the diameter, here the center bisects this chord. Only one which is the diameter. Other chords, by the definition, center is not bisecting it. Center is not bisecting it. Okay. So that is how it's false. What I am trying to suggest is only one diameter which is passing through the center. So center is dividing that chord, which is the diameter. Others not. The third is, circle is a particular case of an ellipse. Now this is absolutely true. How? Let me write the equation of the circle. It's x square by a square plus y square by b square equals 1. So it's like this. We have the major length as the major axis and the minor length is the minor axis. Or you can say semi-major is A and semi-minor is B. So when we say A and B are equal, so it will be a circle. When A and B are equal, that is the radius. A and B are equal, so basically we are talking about an ellipse which is having from the center equal distance of all the points. So just put A square equals B square, you will get x square plus y square equals 1. And this is the equation of a unit circle. Okay. So this is a ellipse which is becoming a circle now. Next one. If x and y are integers such that x is greater than y, then minus x is less than minus y. Minus x is less than minus y. What does it mean? See, x is greater than y, and by inequality we know that if we multiply both sides by a negative number, say minus 1 we are multiplying both sides, so the inequality will change. Minus 1 you apply, inequality will change. So it will be minus x less than minus y. So this is correct. Next one is root 11 is a rational number. Root 11 is a rational number. First thing is 11 is a prime number. 11 is a prime number. Square root of a prime number is always an irrational number. So under root 11 cannot be a rational number. It's actually an irrational number because 11 is a prime. So the statement is false. Now next is determine whether the argument used to check the validity of the following statement is correct. Determine whether the argument used to check the validity of the following statement is correct. Now the statement is if x square is irrational, because the statement is also given and the reason is also given. If x square is irrational, then x is rational. If x square is irrational, then x is rational. X square is irrational, then x is rational. Now what is the argument being given? What is the reason being given? The reason given is the statement is true because the number x square equals pi square is irrational. Therefore, x equals pi is irrational. So it is given if irrational, then irrational. So this is the reason they are giving. But the statement is saying if x square is irrational, then x is rational. According to this argument, the P or the statement should be if x square is irrational, then x is irrational. According to the statement, the P should be if x square is irrational, then x is irrational. It has to be irrational. The statement is saying that. So the statement is not actually arguing about the statement. So statement is false for the statement, or if the statement is correct, the reason is correct, statement is false. Okay? Argument is wrong. Okay. So this is all about this exercise. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.